right, we're live. Just going to type something in the chat here. We are going to be discussing going over the two chord today. So I'm going to make a couple of focused weeks in a row on certain types of certain parts of the 2/5, and then how this relates to creating bebop lines and how this relates to just creating lines in general and your own vocabulary. So I thought maybe I'd take the next couple weeks. This week we're going to focus on the 2 chord. I'm going to play a couple of lines that fit over the 2 chord, get your brains thinking about what's happening, and then over that, and then next week we'll maybe talk about the 5 chord a bit, the different sounds you can play over the 5 chord, and then the week after that we'll talk about like how to resolve these lines into major or minor, whatever we're going for. So we're going over the 2/7 today. That's what I'm typing in the chat. So, hey Tracy, how you doing? Nice to see you as always. Thanks for showing up. Week 17, it's crazy. So let me play a couple lines for you. I've written down 3 lines, and I'll break each one down. They're very simple, pretty much almost diatonic in nature, but there's a couple of enclosures and outside notes. But I think this will be a nice little intro to writing your own lines. I'll kind of show you how the 2 can lead into the 5 nicely, and then just get your brain going, get you all thinking about how these lines connect, how you can create your own sound, and how you can create your own language from it. So here we go. I'm guessing that wow was for week 17. Yeah, I know. I'm amazed by it too. We're over 4 months of live sessions, which is pretty cool. Okay, so here's the first line. This one is like an arpeggio in nature, but it's got a leading tone, and I'll play it for you and then I'll explain it. So here we go. I'll play it a couple times. 1, 2, 3. The last note I just played is landing on the 5. So bo ba da ba bo ba do be 5, and that's the 3 of the 5 chord, which in concert key that's E concert, in tenor key that's F sharp. So I'm playing G minor concert. I'm playing a G minor concert idea, which is just a leading tone to the 7th. And then I'm going down the arpeggio, 7, 5, 3, 1, and then 3, 5, 7, and then I'm resolving to the 3 of the 5 chord. So here it is again. And that can lead you a lot of places on the 5 chord. Like I said, we're only going to be talking about the 2 chord today. We'll carry this over next week, so I'm not bombarding you with too much information. And then also it allows you to kind of digest some of the stuff we're talking about. You don't have to feel like you need to learn a bunch of stuff all in one week. If I'm going to be doing these each week, it's better to slow things down and really get a really good understanding of how this stuff works versus trying to throw a bunch of stuff at you like you're drinking out of a fire hydrant or something. So let's just keep it like whatever, garden hose level. Okay. All right. So let me play that one more time. So just like I said, very arpeggio in nature, arpeggiatic. I don't know if that's a word, but it is now. And that one is diatonic. That one's completely diatonic. We are in the key of concert F, right? So that's G minor 7 that we're playing over there. And again, that's leading tone to the 7th, to the flat 7. Of course, if I say 7th, we're on a minor chord, it's a flat 7. If I say 3 on a minor chord, it means flat 3. All right, so we're going leading tone 7, 7, 5, 3, 1, 3, 5, 7, and then resolve to the 3 of the 5 chord. All right. Okay, so let's do the next one. The next one is similar start to what we just did, and it's going to be more of a scalar shape that's going to end in an enclosure over the 3rd. So the third of the 5 chord. So here it is. I'll play it for you. I'll play it for you twice slowly, and then you can kind of get it in your ears and think about what's happening, and then we'll go from there. I'll explain it from there. So here's the line. Play it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, resolving to the 3, now down an octave, of the 5 chord. But what's happening? How are we getting to that line? And really, the interesting part of this is at the end with the enclosure. I hope you heard that enclosure at the end. So I'm doing the same thing, leading tone to the 7th. Right? So leading tone 7th, and I'm going down to the 5. And I'm going down to the 3 still. So it starts similarly. And now here's where it changes. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1. So that leads me down to the G, right, in the G minor 7. So there's hey Pierce, nice to see you. What's up? So then we're on the 1 now, and now we have basically 2 notes or a one whole beat to get to that, to resolve that. So here's where we do the enclosure. So I'm playing the 7, which is the flat 7, and then I'm doing a half step below the target note, which the half step below the target note is the E flat. So the target note is E, so we go a half step below that target note, and that gives us that enclosure. So let me play that enclosure slow so you can hear it. So I'm on the flat 7. Here we go. You hear that? Flat 7, half step below the target note, and then I resolve to the 3 of the 5 chord. Let me give it the full context. And you can go wherever you want from there. And like I said, we'll kind of add on to this next week and see where these lines go. They can go wherever you want them, by the way. They don't have to go where I'm taking you. Let your ear be your guide and go from there. Matt. Hey, what's up, Matt? Hey-o. I like that. Hey-o. So let me play that one more time, slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now the last one. So the first 2 kind of started with into the leading tone into the flat 7. So now we're gonna start with an enclosure around the 1. So the 1 is G7, G minor 7. We still haven't changed keys at all. So G minor 7. So we're gonna start with an enclosure around that and listen to how this is. And this is still gonna resolve to the 3 of the 5 chord. Why? You might be asking yourself, why am I resolving to the 3 of the 5 chord? The reason being is because you can get a lot of half-step resolutions to the 3rd of the 5 chord. The flat 7 of the 2 chord, which in this case it's F, resolving to E, which is the 3 of the 5 chord. That's a half-step resolution. You just saw how we can go a half step below the resolution as well, which we just did. And that is voice leading, right? That is voice leading in a nutshell. And that half-step resolution, it's not the only way to do it. It's not the only thing that sounds good, but it is a good way for you to link lines and start understanding how this language works. It's like I said, it's not the only way. It's not the best way for some people, but voice leading like this gives people maybe a better understanding of how the language, and they can hear the language a lot better. But that 7/3 resolution is very classic sound. Anybody you listen to, from Charlie Parker to Sonny Stitt to Oscar Peterson to Chet Baker, even though Chet Baker was playing a lot by ear, any of those, I mean, you name it, even to today, Joshua Redman, Mark Turner, they're all doing this at some point in time, whether it's how I'm doing it or in their own way, right? They are making these lines happen by voice leading. So so let's go ahead and let me play the 3rd line, and you're going to hear an enclosure at the start, and you're going to hear that 7/3 resolution at the end. So in the middle, just start thinking about that. I'll play it a couple times for you all, and then we'll go from there. So here we go. Play it again. Okay, so like I said, it starts with an enclosure. So it's the 9, natural 7 to the 1. Whoa, just hit my horn. So we're in, like I said, we're in G minor 7 concert here. So we're starting on the 9, which is A, and then we're doing a half step below, which is just a leading tone. So it's going A, F sharp, G, right? And now I'm just going up the scale. So I'm going 1, 2, 3. I'm actually just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, it's a flat 3. We're talking about minor here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I'm just jumping up to the 7 so I can resolve onto 1. So here, let me go ahead and play it again. I'll count 1, 2, ready, and that landing note is the third of that C7 concert. Play it one more time. That's it. So that's the 3 lines. Those are just lines that are pretty classic language, and also just to kind of get your brains going, right? Like I said in the beginning, I really want you to kind of hear these lines and let your ear and let your musicality and your creativity take you to the next step. And next week we're going to talk about what we're doing over the 5 chord, how we can make these lines fit over the 5 chord using bebop scales, using diatonic language, maybe using some altered stuff. We're going to see what we get into, but I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest. So got a lot going on these days. But it'll be fun. But I wanna address these 3 lines because they were literally um, all eighth note lines, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then we landed on the third of the 5 chord. So it's 8 eighth notes. This doesn't have to be 8 eighth notes. This can be however you want it. It doesn't have to be eighth notes. It can be, you can mix it up. Bebop scales, Pierce. Yeah, we'll get into that. So we don't have to keep these like just eighth lines consistently. We can mess with it. We can leave a note out, right? You can leave the first. Oh yeah, yeah. I know Barry Harris. Sorry, Pierce is saying you got to familiarize yourself with the Barry Harris School of Theory. I know a bit of Barry Harris. I don't know his stuff. His explanation of bebop scales is different. Yes, I know he uses like a major bebop scale. The flat, the flat 5, or excuse me, the flat 6, half step between the flat, and then he's using the diminished in between those. I don't know everything about his stuff, and he's an amazing educator. I should brush up on that. So maybe we can have a chat, and you can teach me some stuff about what he's saying. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, and other people are watching. But definitely want to talk about Barry Harris. If you want to hit me up, DM me, and we can chat. So back to these different rhythmic aspects of this line, right? So the first line that we did was this, right? So just straight or swung eighth notes, straight eighth notes, just eighth notes consistently through the bar. Right? We don't need that first leading tone. Maybe we go 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Start on the end of 1. Maybe we change it completely, and maybe not completely, but maybe we take out even the first whole beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do whatever. Right, add a triplet in there. All those notes were exactly the same as the original line, but changing it up rhythmically. So don't let the 3 lines put you in a box, is what I'm saying. You use your creativity, use your other musicality and your ears and your knowledge to allow you to allow you to kind of think in a way that leads you to what you're organically coming up with. These are just very straightforward ideas that are a part of the bebop language that's just giving you kind of a catalyst to get to that whatever the next step is for you. If this is the first introduction to this type of language to you or these types of sounds, then I'm happy to like introduce you to these sounds, and then wherever you go from there is really cool. Um, but we will talk about the 5 chord next week. We will talk about the 1 chord the following week. So resolving these ideas. Um, any questions in the chat? There's some people watching. So any questions? I'll hang out here for a second. Pierce, if you want to talk now about any of the Barry Harris stuff, I know he's got a whole different thing going on, and it's an amazing when I listen to him, but I haven't studied his stuff like in depthly. But I do love how he teaches, and I did have one teacher back in college that was very much of the Barry Harris school, but I only got to study with him for one semester. So, and that was, gosh, 20 years ago. I'm old. But anyways, if everyone's cool or doesn't have any questions, then we'll leave it there for today. As always, thank you all for watching and for hanging out with me on a 2-5 Tuesday live. Always enjoy having your company and having these little sessions. They're fun, and I enjoy doing them. So I'm glad you're watching. So yes, yes, I do know what you're talking about. The sixth and diminished chords. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah. So let's talk about that real quick. So Barry Harris has this amazing way of he's got it's really great to see on the piano, but let's just talk about like F major, and he does this thing where he's got this is his like quote unquote major bebop scale. I don't know if that's what he calls it, but um, this is what he does. So if you have a major 6 chord, which is this. So he's got that sound, and you can take every inversion of that sound. And that last one is actually like an E minor chord, or in a D minor chord in concert. I'm talking in tenor key. Sorry, tenor head. But the alternative to that creates a diminished sound using that flat 6. So here's that first chord. So if we play that's 1, 3, 5, 6. Now we're going to play 2, 4, and the flat 6, and then the 7. Now we're going to go to the 3, so it's going to be 3, 5, 6, 1. Now we're going up again. Up again, so now we're at 5, 6, 1, 3. And now we're starting from that flat 6. And we're starting from the 6 now. And then now we're starting from the natural 7, which is giving us this. And then we're back at 1. And so yeah, it's a really beautiful thing, especially when you play it on piano. And he does like a drop 2 voicing, I think, on it. Really beautiful. And this creates a lot of other tensions within a 2-5-1. Maybe we can get into this eventually. And because it takes a long time I can't explain it in 2 minutes. It takes a lot of demonstration. And the way he does describe it, you're better off literally Googling that or YouTubing it. Stay on YouTube, because YouTube's the best. I'm sure there's great platforms too, but this is a great place to get a bunch of knowledge. But it creates a lot of tension in the 5 chord, and you can use it over the 2 and obviously over the 1. It's a beautiful way. So Pierce, yeah, thanks for hipping me to it. I'm glad you mentioned it, and I'm hopefully able to explain it in a fairly clear way of what that sounds like. But anyways, that's it. 20 minutes. Wow, this flew by. Hope you all had fun. Thank you again. Thank you all to all the people who have subscribed. You are amazing, and I don't get anything for this. This is all free, and I enjoy doing it. So thank you all. Appreciate the support. I hope you're having a wonderful February wherever you live. I know it's been cold in places. It's rainy here in Southern California today, and yeah, I'll see you next week. Looking forward to it. We'll be going over the 5 chord and talking about different colors over the 5 chord. So just remember, always positive, always progressing. Later. See you later, Tracy. See you, everybody.